Hey friends, and welcome back to my channel and welcome to this video. A few weeks back I made a video showing you our tiny home, how we set it up, how it looks. So if you haven't seen that, I'll link that right here. Today I thought I'd talk a little bit about the things that I didn't expect living in such a tiny home, and there are quite a few. I thought I'd get real with you guys, get raw, and just show you everything or talk about everything that surprised me in a good way, but also surprised me in a bad way. So maybe you are thinking about living in a tiny home, or maybe you're just curious how it is to live in a tiny home. I encourage you to keep watching. This video hopefully will give you a better picture of how it is. So if you're new here, I'd quickly introduce myself. I'm Sylvia from Catchy Cravings. I'd love to inspire you and help you master healthy eating and healthy living. So if that is something that sounds amazing, then feel free to subscribe for more weekly videos on topics like these. And without further ado, let's get on to the video. So rewinding back to when I first told family and friends about our plans to live in this tiny home or move into this tiny home, most of their reaction was kind of like, are you sure you want to be doing this? You're not really going to have your own personal space and you're probably going to fight all the time, and we just don't think that it's a good idea. And to be honest, that did kind of make me worry a little bit more, but we still moved in and we learned so much along the way up until today. So many things that we didn't expect that I'm going to share with you guys to maybe spare you the pain and the trouble. So as I said before, I did kind of expect us to fight a little bit more since we're mushed together in this tiny apartment and we have no personal space. But to our surprise, we actually are getting along great. We're not really fighting more than we did before. We're getting along great, just as great as we did before. So that was something that I did not expect, but in a positive way. But I do have to do a quick disclaimer at this point that I personally think that it is something that is very unique to every one or every couple. I know a lot of people as a couple or as friends or two friends that love each other, but squished in such a tiny space would absolutely tear each other apart, and that is so understandable. So I think living in a tiny space can be really great for some people, but it does have to kind of suit your dynamic, which luckily for us it really did, but we couldn't have known that beforehand. But what I did notice about our arguments is that they tend to get resolved so much more quicker. I personally think it's because we're just squished together in this room and there's no, as I said, personal space where you can escape to, so you're kind of forced to hash it out almost straight away, and that can be really beneficial. At least for us it really was. And as I said, there is no personal space here, and yes, that really sucks, but that kind of forced us to learn to respect each other's boundaries and respect each other's space and time, and learn to be more patient with each other, which I think is really beneficial for us as a couple. I think this will really set us up well for our relationship to come. But as I said, this is probably really specific and personal to every single couple and the dynamic that you guys have. Also, I think that another benefit that I did not expect is that you learn so much about yourself, but also about the other person. You learn about the things that you absolutely need to have in order to function properly. There you learn about the things that you realize are not that important to you. For example, for me, I found out that it was actually not important at all that my working environment is quiet. So I don't really care if someone is maybe washing the dishes next to me or behind me while I'm trying to work. That does not really bother me at all. Where on the other hand, my boyfriend does need a quiet space in order to work and to function, which is also so understandable. But those are, for example, things that we did not know about ourselves. So something else I did not expect is that you have to clean a tiny apartment so much more often. I did expect that cleaning would be so much quicker and easier, but the cleaning frequency needs to be much higher. The tinier the space, the more dust and dirt will collect, or the faster it will collect. So a tiny bit of dust in the corner kind of already feels like 30% of the place is super dirty, even though it's not that much if this were a bigger place, if you guys know what I mean. Something else is that I would personally consider myself a tiny and tidy, not a tiny person, a tidy and clean person. But in a tiny home, you only need to displace maybe 1 or 2 things in order for the whole apartment or the whole home to feel really cluttered. And that is a real frustration for me because I like to have my space clean and tidy. But as I said, it just gets cluttered so easily. For example, if it is laundry day for us, drying our laundry here in this apartment when it's raining outside is really annoying because it just takes up so much space and the apartment is full and it's so hard to maneuver around it. And that is just one example. Or when you come home with the groceries and you decide to unpack them maybe 15 minutes later, the whole space is just full with the groceries. And yeah, just to give you guys a picture of how that is. Something else I didn't really expect, but maybe I should have anticipated, is that smells distribute so quickly in this tiny home. So if it's maybe smelly shoes, or if it's your business in the bathroom, or if it's spraying maybe too much perfume, or if maybe you're cooking something or frying something, every single smell just distributes into the whole apartment so quickly, and you have to ventilate so often if you don't want to be sleeping in an area where it smells maybe like fish or something else. Also, that again kind of restricts me personally, the capacity I'm willing to cook. By that I mean that I, for example, would not be willing to fry anything with a lot of oil or anything that will be really smelly, because I will definitely not be able to get that smell out of our bed and our blankets and just our clothes for probably a week or so. And since everything is just so tiny in this place, everything will be affected by that smell. So these are my things that I absolutely did not expect living in a tiny home. Obviously we did do our research before moving in, but yeah, these were some of the things that we just did not see coming. Hopefully this will maybe prepare you better if you're planning to move into a tiny home, or if you're just wondering how that is, maybe now you have a better sense of how it is to live in a tiny home. I hope you found this interesting or maybe entertaining. If you guys have any other questions about living in tiny spaces, feel free to leave that below. If there's anything else you'd like to know about tiny living that I can make a video on, leave that down below too. Thank you for watching this video. If you made it this far, give it a thumbs up and maybe comment that you've made it to the end. Thank you so much for all of you that are new to this channel. I know there are so many of you that have joined recently. Thank you so much. I appreciate every single one of you, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.